Hi, kia ora and welcome to my channel. This was recorded on the 3rd of March, New Zealand time, a rare total lunar eclipse, also known as a blood moon. What you see here is the process of first manually aligning the telescope towards the moon. Connect the sync app and set it to point and track. Next is the DWARF II Smart Telescope. Same thing, get it pointing in the right direction using a PC screen as a guide. I figured I'd make an early start to iron out the bugs, and there were a few. But I'm all ready for 9:40 PM when the shadow begins to form over the moon. You might have noticed the box around the moon on the right. That was one of the issues that I had. It left me with two choices. First, I could use the moon tracker, but then I'd lose the ability to manually white balance, and if I use auto white balance, it will prevent you from seeing the moon actually turn red. The second option, which I went with, was to use object tracking. That's the box you see around the moon. Now by doing that, I was able to manually set the white balance so it remains fixed for the shot. As you can hear, the wind was relentless. The gusts felt like 60 to 80 kilometers an hour at times, so every part of the footage needed stabilization before I could speed it up. This is my first time documenting a total lunar eclipse using the Skywatcher telescope with a Sony ZV-E1 full-frame camera. My expectations are positive, though I know it has its challenges. By midnight, the moon may be out of shot, as the balcony overhang might get in the way. Also, because the telescope is f11, I'll need to push the ISO quite a bit, so it could end up a little bit noisy, but time will tell. Here I decided to check focus on the telescope as it was looking just slightly a bit off. That's better, looking sharp. You can see with the DWARF II, increasing the ISO and pushing the brightness has brought out the red in the dark area of the moon. Also stopped object tracking. With the Sony ZV-E1, I increased the ISO to allow a little of the dark area of the moon to come through. Later on, I continued increasing the ISO and reducing the shutter speed to properly expose those deep reds. The wind gusts really made this challenging. That shaking you hear, right after that, my 5.1 rig on the stand actually took a fall. So, after using my tool bag to weigh the leg down, I managed to get through the rest of the night without it falling over again. So I continued increasing the ISO to 12,800, which is the native ISO for the ZV-E1, and reduced the shutter speed down to I think 1/15th to properly expose those deep reads. It was after midnight, around 12:20 AM, so after about 3.5 hours of documenting the blood moon observations, I was blown away by those deep reads. There's still a bit of noise there, but the quality of what I captured just made the experience memorable. Now if you're wondering, after looking at the moon and how amazing it looks, why I don't do tracking and stacking using the Sony ZV-E1, well, I just enjoy the live visuals and prefer to leave it to the DWARF II to handle the tracking and stacking. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing a full screen view of the moon turning red. Sure.